I love Shelley Long and I love Christmas films, so I was really hopeful that The Santa Trap would be a good film. To be honest, it's okay. As long as you don't take it too seriously and are in the mood for a film that's a little bit silly, then I think you might enjoy it. This was released in 2002. It's directed by John Shepphird, written by Steve Jankowski and John Shepphird, and it stars, of course, Shelley Long as the mother and Robert Hayes as the father. And we also have Sierra Abel as Judy and Brandon Michael DePaul as Mike. And Judy is told by her big brother on Christmas Eve that Santa Claus isn't real. And Judy decides to set a trap to capture Santa Claus to prove her brother wrong. And she does this. And she captures Santa Claus. And then, of course, her parents think it's an intruder and phone the police, and Santa ends up going to jail on Christmas Eve. This is a big problem because obviously lots of girls and boys around the world still need their Christmas presents. And I won't say too much more about what happens, but I will say that Santa meets somebody else in jail, and that person causes more problems. And I will be honest, I don't love the direction it took. I think the first half of the film, give or take, was really enjoyable and unpredictable. I had no idea where it was going, what direction the narrative was going to take. Once I worked out what was going to happen and what the second half of the film would be, I lost interest a tiny bit. It stopped being the film that I was interested in because the first half of the film really appeals to me. The characters are really interesting, the story is fascinating, I like the feel of it. After that, it gets a little bit more, I think, actiony is the right word to use there. But for me, that's not something that I was looking for in this film, or indeed any kind of Christmas film. So I didn't love the direction it took, but I think it will appeal to some people. In honesty, I think it probably appeals more to children than it does to adults. Now, I love children's films, but this one, just the second half of it didn't really work for me. But I can't, when I evaluate the narrative, I can't point to anything specific that didn't work. I can't find anything that I think should have been done differently or that felt forced or out of place. It's just not for me. So the narrative is fine, but it's not going to appeal to everybody. The character of Santa, I rather liked. Santa is played by Dick Van Patten, and everybody's performances were really good. No complaints there. It's Christmassy enough. It is definitely a Christmas film, but it's definitely also not going to be for everybody. Would I recommend it? Yes, if there's a reason that you think it will appeal, if there's somebody in it. For example, for me, it was Shelley Long. Then I'd say give it a go. We also have a message in there about the true meaning of Christmas. For example, the family have just moved to the west from New England, so obviously it's a lot hotter. It doesn't feel like Christmas to some of the characters, and in particular, Molly, the mother, is not really feeling Christmas. And as the film progresses, she does have the chance to get back in the Christmas spirit by focusing on what really matters. So it's a decent enough film, it's a fun enough concept, it's well enough executed, the characters are likeable, the performances are good, and there's a good amount of Christmas in it. It's not going to appeal to everybody. I preferred the first half of the film, give or take, but I can't fault the second half. It just shifted to something that wasn't quite to my personal preference. Had it not been Shelley Long, I might not have enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm aware that that's potential bias. But other than that, it's an okay film. For the right audience, I think it could be a good watch.